Hi, I'm about to make hot chocolate. And of course my dog just started barking, but that's life. If I waited for everything to be perfect and for me to have a camera person, I'd never get this done. So here goes. This is good, healthy hot chocolate from raw milk. So first, what I have here is a pan with about halfway filled with water that's boiling. And in this bowl, I just put a little bit of water because it works best if you melt the cocoa first. It's going to taste better with a little bit of salt. So if you're just making 1 cup, I'm going to make a pint right now. So just put a little bit of salt on your hand and put a few grains in the water. We also have some vanilla extract. I make my own, and I like putting it in a dropper bottle, but you certainly don't have to. Put maybe, I don't know, half a teaspoon in. I cannot take a whole lot of sugar myself, so I use I use some stevia. And since stevia will never overcome the bitterness of unsweetened chocolate, I also will add a little honey. So I'm going to put, you saw that half a dropper full of liquid stevia. I use this brand 365 organic stevia extract liquid from Whole Foods. It's one of the cheapest extracts on the market, and then I just put it in my own dropper bottle. Let's see, we need honey. And I just forgot to get my spoon, so hang on a second. Alright, so I need a spoon, and I like to use a small whisk. This is not necessary, but if you have one, it's great for mixing the cocoa and everything. So I'm going to put just a little bit, probably half a teaspoon of honey in there. And then we need our cocoa. This is just some organic unsweetened cocoa. If you're not at that point yet, you can just get Hershey's. And I'm going to put, see, I don't measure anything really. So this is just a regular teaspoon size. It's a nice teaspoon, but like a regular teaspoon from your set. And just mound it up. How much you ultimately end up putting in will depend on taste. You know, your taste. I like sort of a dark chocolate, not too sweet, but I do like some sweetness. So I'm going to mix that in. It's just, right now the cocoa powder is just floating on top. Oops, I don't usually make a mess like that, only when I'm on camera. Alright, so just getting that to mix a little bit. The other item I use, which is optional, but as you probably know, coconut oil and other saturated fats are very great source of energy. So I have a lot of heavy work to do soon. I gotta get the barn ready for some baby goats, so I gotta do a lot of heavy lifting. So I put about this much coconut oil in there. That's going to float on the top, so just understand that that's probably a lot to start with if you're not used to eating fat. But the coconut oil tastes marvelous with the chocolate. You could also use butter. I prefer coconut oil. And what I'm doing here is I'm taking that chunk of coconut oil. It melts fairly quickly. And I'm just running it along the sides of the bowl where it's hottest here. And this water is simmering. I turned it down. You can make this go fast by putting your flame up high, but I find it's too hot to have my hand near that flame. So once it gets boiling, I turn it down. Now I'm just waiting for the coconut oil to dissolve. And I have our own fresh organic goat's milk, fresh squeezed. You can use any milk, but raw milk is great. Raw cow's milk works as well too. And I forgot my cup. Hang on. Running away for a second. This is a pint jar. This will be equivalent to 2 smallish mugs, you know, standard mugs from your set. So I'm just measuring out the milk in here. Remember that you put water in that bowl, so allow a little room for that. Now, if this was truly straight from the goat, I usually make this in the morning right after I milk, and the milk is already warm. In that case, I will just put half the milk in. I know most of you probably aren't doing that, so put the whole thing in. And just get it warm. You can turn this up pretty high if you want to speed up this process. One thing that's very important to me is to have raw milk. I should get back down here. It's very important for me to have raw milk because it's just so much better for you. And I have access to it right out in my backyard from my goats. So since I go through so much trouble to get this milk raw, I don't want to destroy all the enzymes and such through overheating it, pasteurizing it. Basically, I'll pasteurize it if I get this as hot as I'm used to having hot chocolate. So I've taught myself to like it lukewarm. So you can do it however you like. So the way I do that is I've also taught myself to know the temperature. That's already mildly warm. It's not even bath temperature warm. If it's really important to you to keep this raw, you can get yourself one of these dial thermometers. It's you want one that's not necessarily the standard meat thermometer because this needs to go a little lower than a lot of the meat thermometers start. This one goes from 0 Fahrenheit all the way to 220. It's a dairy thermometer. So you can just check the temperature there and keep it under, say, to be safe, say 100. I don't remember what the enzyme killing point is, but keep it to around 105 and you'll be safe. It's getting a little hot for my hands here. But I've learned to just test it with my fingers. And like I said, if raw is not something that you are doing yet or ready for, or even want to, you can get this as hot as you like. My husband actually prefers it hot, so I pour mine out and then leave his in here to continue heating. Alright, that's hot enough for me. Make sure you turn the flame off if you're going to do this. Oh, I also use the bowl on top of the pan because scorched milk tastes weird. And it's the only way you're going to be able to get this so that it doesn't taste scorched. Or that you don't pasteurize it. So, this bowl is very hot from being steamed. So I hold it with the towel. Make sure you turn the flame off so you don't light the towel on fire. Ask me how I know. Alright, see, I didn't judge well, so I have a little extra, but that's okay. I will have no trouble drinking it. So let me try this. It's going to be good. That is amazing, and it took hardly any time. If I wasn't so busy yakking to you guys, I could have gotten a bunch of other things done in the kitchen while that was warming up. So I hope you enjoyed it.